Well, good evening and welcome back to episode two of the So It Is podcast. Name and progress, maybe the name, maybe not. So why has it been so long since the last podcast? I suppose basically, I didn't know what to talk about. I want to talk about stuff like success, how we can sort of do better in life, um, you know, just happiness, general mental health. For me, it'll probably be more for men. There is that sort of stigma around it. And then just been busy. I've been playing a lot of golf if I can, trying to get better at golf, and the Open was on. So obviously I had my golf brain on. I've started this new course and it's been busy. And then I went home for a weekend. So I spent the weekend with my fiance, which was good, even though she was quite sick. But yeah, um, what else did I do? Pretty much it. Didn't know what I wanted to talk about as well. So a couple of my favorite podcasts, Joe Rogan podcast, for example, he talks about whatever he wants. He has guests on all the time, talks about whatever he wants. I'm not sure if Joe's ever just spoke to the camera himself. I'm sure he's a pretty confident guy, but it's not easy just talking to the camera yourself. You have to obviously keep entertained. You have to stop saying ums and uhs like I am. I'm also having a beer because not because because I'm trying not to say am anymore. Basically, we're finished work for the week. And I said, I'm again. Finished work for the week, had a beer, first time talking to the camera in a long time. So I thought, it might chill me out. However, I probably need to have, six, seven, or eight of them. So my problem with the podcast at the moment is I'm stuck in two minds. So I was just told you about Joe Rogan, but also the Rick Sheet Golf Show podcast. I'm a member of the clubhouse. I've met Guy Charnock two times and Rick Shields twice. No, I met Guy once. Um, but they talk about whatever they want, but also golf. And then they go into stories, and I think it's fun. Joe Rogan can be both. These are most the area of a CEO. More business, and you can sort of see my favorite podcast is a lot of different podcasts. So I don't really know what route I want to take mine down. I've thought about maybe doing two different podcasts. One that's a bit more informal, talks about sport, and one maybe a bit more formal, talks about businesses and being better. So to start off, just a quick shout out to golf. Roy McIlroy, obviously, being from Northern Ireland, I love anyone that's doing well for Northern Ireland, bringing the eyes to Northern Ireland, whether it be good publicity. In fact, only good publicity I like. And we'll have a brief second to talk about something that happened last week. But Roy McIlroy, I mean, come on, nearly won the 150th Open. He's won four majors. The eyes he brings to Northern Ireland is mental. He carries the Ulster flag with him, which is class. It's on his badge. Um, to have one of the top golfers in the world from Northern Ireland, especially as good as Rory is, it's just an achievement for us. If you look at the famous people we have from Northern Ireland, like that's amazing. Right now, you have people smashing it. Shane Todd, Kieran Barnlett. Don't know how to say his name. Funny enough, but just these people that are absolutely smashing it. We have Kevin Hart in the country, so we had for a few months filming, and obviously that brought more eyes, and people are loving his shows. However, last week we had the 12th of July in Northern Ireland, which happens near enough every year, barring COVID times. There was an incident that went all over social media about a guy throwing a bin out the window of the band, and then a band throwing a wheelie bin in through the window. So I'll touch my quick thoughts on that because if I don't, I'll probably get called a shite bag. Um, my thoughts, I don't like the guy throwing the bin out the window. You're going out of your way to be offended. You're going out of your way to insult as well by doing that. There's times where you're offended and you just shut your mouth. There's times like here's a dumb example: people cut you off in traffic. Shut your mouth. You get over it. We're all adults. People can just be, just be idiots. Obviously, someone walking up your street playing, music that you don't agree with, uh, isn't great, but it happens on both sides. We both aggravate each other. But if we just stopped going out of our way to be offended, it would probably save a lot of hassle with all of us. However, on the opposite side of that, when you've got a band that have 30, whatever, however many people it was, obviously they're not going to be happy with someone throwing a bin at them. But as 30 men that you could beat them up, you could kill this man, you could do whatever. But just knowing that should be enough. You shouldn't put a wheelie bin in through someone's window because if you had walked on, you would look much better. However, obviously he can't, do an action without a reaction. So the reaction I understand, but imagine if the band had just walked on, he would have looked a fool. It's a mob mentality, I understand. Once something like that happens, it is mob mentality. People are like, strength in numbers, but guys shouldn't have threw it and not expected any consequences. But at the band, you know, two wrongs don't make a right. And that's all we'll say on that. Big thing from last week is people reaching out and how the first podcast done. Right now, I think I've had like 5 listens, so get in. It's not about listens though for me. It's more about with my new role and this new job I'm getting into, just gaining confidence talking again. These skills, this podcast will never be anything huge, but at least something I enjoy, hopefully for a while. So basically people were reaching out to me saying, keep it up, and which is really, really encouraging because I used to have a YouTube channel, and it's honestly when people found it, just ripped the piss out of me. And I was like, obviously you try and not feel embarrassed or never ashamed or anything, but it is going to be embarrassing. Lads taking the piss out of you. It's again, it's men's mentality. It's a bit of a group mentality. You need to have thick skin. Lucky I do have some thick skin, but yeah, the support was amazing. My sister reached out to me. She listened to it all, and she said, well done, because it talked a lot of stuff about me, which is very personal and very hard for me to do. My boss reached out to me. My old boss reached out to me. One of my friends, Josh, reached out to me. My old coach, Ben, reached out to me. The guy I was talking about in the podcast, Chris, put up a post on Instagram, mentioned me. So just like, I mean, it's only 4 people have listed there, but that's huge. There's 4 million podcasts in the world. And like if mine could just, give someone a break for an hour, just maybe even just hearing the normal perspective of someone, it's class. And also, like I said, it's helping me because I'm getting into that role where I should be able to talk and project things the way I want and hopefully get people to follow me and, say follow, but lead them and stuff like that. And it's just good because these are the skills I want to carry out after I'm finished my career with this career that I'm in right now. Because right now I have bigger plans, hopefully, with life, but there needs to be stepping stones and hard work before that. So I just want to touch on the people that did reach out. So obviously my sister, like I was saying, my younger sister reached out, said like, well done, listened to it all. Like that was good, encouraging. Obviously knowing the family, are supportive of it. That was very nice of her. My friend Josh, very admirable for him to reach out because I'll explain Josh, my friend. I say friend, was one of my best friends. Probably hasn't been like friend in 10 years. He was an old school friend basically. I went to Fort Hill College when I was younger, and me, Josh, Jamie, Neil, Adam, Clark. There's loads of us. Jeez, I hope I don't forget anyone, but there's loads of us. Basically, we're all really good mates and all really close. And Josh and Jamie, it's really like the cool guys. Josh was like a centre back in football. Jamie was a left winger, I think, maybe a right winger. Plays right wing now. Plays right wing for a team in Ireland. Uh, Class baller. Just a bad luck of a draw for Jamie, but he's doing unbelievable. So he is like he's smashing it. So George was like, "Oh, how you doing, Rob?" And I was like, "Yeah, doing good." He says, "Oh, just reaching out to old schoolmates," and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, great." And then he went on to say, like, "You've done so well. You can't believe what you've done with your life. You've done amazing. You've probably done the best out of anyone in school." I was thinking to myself, that's high praise, especially coming from Josh, because Josh doesn't know this, and I didn't tell him because no one wants to sound like a little bitch sometimes. But I probably should have told him. But it's just that swallowing that man uphill. Um, Josh, I used to look up to Josh in school. Josh was, I was funny. I also had friends. Josh was a popular kid, fit. Like I said, played sports and all. And he was just a really, really, sound lad. And Josh has this family, and he looks like he's doing amazing. He looks happy, especially with the kids and stuff. And I was like, I'm pretty jealous of you, Josh, and definitely jealous of you in school. And he said to me, like, you've done really well. I can't believe you've done all this for your life. Like, you've achieved so much. I was thinking to myself, like, I really haven't. But it was good. It was very humbling for me to think that maybe, people are actually recognizing, or people just that support. Just that's all it was. So thank you, Josh. I don't know if you'll hear this, but thank you because that was class. And hopefully we'll do meet up for a pint next month in August. Um, Next one, my old coach Ben Hearn, so the king of Level Up Coaching Academy. He reached out to me, and not only reached out to me, he offered me some help. And me being as rude as I am, sometimes I just go nuts and I forget things. But then I got on course and I just started getting busy. And then that's why it's took 2 weeks for this. And I don't want to let it fall. So when I had a bit of free time, finished the day early for the weekend, I thought I need to do something. So maybe I'll get two over the weekend. We don't know yet. You'd be excited. I don't know. So Ben was my coach, and basically first coach ever to teach me, about mental health as well as physical health and how the two are hand in hand, and how being physically healthy can help your mental health. And there's a line that you need to sort of tread carefully. And Ben's class, he used to do these seminars and have guests on and stuff, and it's just amazing. And even now, he's not my coach, and he reached out to me to say like, I'm so happy for you doing this, doing that. And little does Ben know that like I've stopped with social media. You've got influencers with like millions and stuff, and but Ben's one of the guys that my constant go-to for social media, like advice or inspiration or motivation or even just discipline. I see this guy out partying in Dubai. Dubai, by the way. I think Ben's probably like 27, 28, only a couple of years older than me. And he lives in Dubai because he's smashing life. And that's an inspiration in itself. But on top of that, you'll see him run around Dubai at night. So you will. The next night, you'll see him out partying. And then the next morning, next afternoon, you'll see him in the gym eating healthy again. And you're like, what's he doing? He's an absolute animal on a machine. He's freaky. He's just freaky. On top of that, he fucking manages I don't know how many men, and he's always basically on call for them. He's mental how freaky he is, and I hope one day I can reach his standards of like a proficiency and just work ethic and just drive, just discipline and drive. So Ben, you're a fucking legend, first of all. Then the last person, another legend, that my old boss Whiskey reached out, and I don't want to talk too much about Whiskey because I think he's going to come on the podcast, which is class. I don't know if we'll do video or audio. Hopefully, by the time I get home in August, we'll have some better setup. Because right now I'm just doing it on my laptop, so hopefully the audio quality isn't too bad for this. Um, so Whiskey was my old boss, and he's the reason I'm on this course I'm on now. So I got promoted. As always know, obviously I'm in the Royal Navy and I got promotion, but Whiskey was the guy that put that forward. And maybe when he comes on next week, we should read out a bit of the stuff he wrote about me because he's the best liar I know. He's wrote some mental stuff. But Whiskey owns a coaching business called Ballers now. And it's a kids coaching business. And he basically, I'll let him explain it, but basically he just started off very little. And I mean, in rapid time, he's working with, Scottish Premiership players, and, he's holding these camps, and it's mental how quickly he's expanded it. And through not having a lot of impact on social media, which is strange because that's what everyone goes for now. Everyone goes for the big social media and goes for the big presence, and then sort of the money or the work comes in after. But Whiskey's just done hard work, and he's grown, and it is really grown. It's mental, and I'll tell you why I believe it is, and hopefully it's because results are happening. It's not blagging. Whiskey is he shoots straight from the hip. He'll tell you how it is. Me and Whiskey bump heads, two alpha males, and we bumped head a few times, and yet every time we do, we know it's because we're trying to be the best and very competitive. But when he's on, he's one of the wisest men I know. He talks all sense, and says it how it is. So hopefully we get him on, and he'll be able to explain basically, will not spoil it, but what he's came through and what he's doing now and where he wants to go. And hopefully, I don't know if anyone sees this that knows him, but I want to get my friend Jamie on because I know he owns a coaching business as well. He plays in the Irish League, so we maybe even get them to talking to each other because they do similar things, And hopefully that's going to be podcasting in the future is pretty good. I'm going to get some of my friends on because they've got some good Royal Navy debts. Debts mean stories, by the way, if you don't know that. So what are we going to talk about this week? So last week I sort of hinted on whether I'm a success or not, or whether I believe I'm a success. So there's two views of that, right? So I'm going to list off just a couple of things, right? I'll list off the things I've succeeded in, right? So what I believe I succeeded in, sorry. I get in the sixth year. It was a big achievement for me back then because it was a little class clown, got in trouble in school, got suspended twice. Once I got suspended, my missus will kill me for doing this. But I remember in the corridor singing the old "Get Your Tits Out" for the lads song. Shouldn't laugh. Hannah will kill me. But yeah, I was singing that song, and the teacher got suspended anyway. Long story short, I got suspended for getting in a fight and just stupid stuff. So for me, coming into GCSE years, not being very switched on, say not being very switched on, not allowing myself to be switched on, just I turned the switch off. I was, I had the brains obviously, but I turned it off because I was again mob mentality, too young for anyone at that age. So passed my GCSEs, getting sixth form. First achievement, I got my first job in HMV. So passed the interview, got a job in HMV. Achievement. Worked in Jack and Jones. Got the that's an achievement. Um, you know, all little achievements. By the way, I know you just don't. When I say this, you'll be like, no, it's just a job. Um, worked on movies, which is class, stuff like that. And then obviously, I lost what 6.5 stone, then joined the Royal Navy. So that's huge for me as well. Give me 1 second. So completely forgot where I was. Maybe a little jump cut. My missus works night shift, so I have to take her phone call before she starts work. Otherwise, it's just rude to me. So we're talking about like how I thought I'd been successful and where I achieved success. So some of the big achievements, obviously joining the Royal Navy. I was talking about I lost 6.5 stone to join the Royal Navy. I mean, I've probably put like 2 and a bit back on, but that year where I lost that weight, it was within a year. Like my life was, great, in terms of working out, no, but it's getting hectic. Like I had goals, and it was only I seen it as the only way I could do what I wanted to own a house and blah blah blah. So I joined the Royal Navy, passed out, and then I've done a few times away from home, a few long times away from home. To come home and I have my family still there, and my fiance still there. That's a big success. Um, the horror stories we hear in the Navy, if losing your family, losing all that, it's quite scary. Um, and some of the lads, hopefully, some of the lads will come on, talk some stories, and obviously nothing too much. We'll talk some stories. Um, and so that that that's like a success in itself. I bought my own house, this year at the age of 25, which is young enough to buy the house that I did. It's class, it's an amazing house. Hopefully you'll see it in the podcast someday. We'll do a podcast from there. So I believe I've achieved stuff, but the question that I'll be putting towards everyone that is on the podcast is, are you a success? So a lot of people will look at that and think it's a big thing, but all the things I just listed, my successes, um, I'll tell you the feelings, right? Because I believe if you ask anyone how do you achieve success, but most people will say, you need money, you need to own a business. That anyone that has achieved success, they'll probably say, I mean, I haven't achieved success yet, but I've read books, I'm trying my best. They'll probably say through failing. So got into sixth form, dropped out of sixth form after a year. Went to tech twice, dropped out twice because I wanted to work in the movies. Done that twice. Movies ended. Went into HMV. Left HMV. So basically just give up. Uh, all the jobs basically I've worked in. HMV, Jack Jones, a blinds company, one of the worst jobs in the world. Um, what else did I do? I've done loads. I worked in a catering company twice for the movies. Fun, but not what I wanted to do. It was good, hard graft. It taught me a lot. Um, what else have I done? I've done so much, it's ridiculous. Worked in Jack and Jones, HMV, the movies, catering twice. I worked in props in the movies. Didn't get kept on from there. Worked in special effects. Kept on there. My favorite ever job. But I gave up. I left and joined the Navy. So I failed that to succeed in the Navy. Um, but I had goals at the time and I couldn't achieve it with what I was doing. I wanted to get a house and I wanted to, get married and put my life stable for like the future. So yes, I've had successes, but not without the feelings. Only the feelings taught me. Before I joined the Navy, my last job was doing delivery driving. So yeah, everything changes. The Navy, anyone can join, sort of thing. It's not like I've done anything out of the ordinary, but it was hard work, and it still remains hard work, unfortunately. But it just shows it is just about focusing on what you want to focus on, and that's not easy. Like I haven't done this podcast for 2 weeks, and a lot of that 2 weeks was I was out socializing with the friends on this course. I've been out drinking, just having good nights out. But every so often, you just need to sit down and think to yourself, right, what do I want to do? And tonight just so happened to be right. Let's go for another podcast. This will probably be the format, unfortunately, until I feel like I can have people on and confident talking, and I know what direction we're going to take this. Um, so the long story short, am I a success? No, I don't believe I am yet. Believe I'm on the road. I'm trending in the right direction. Hopefully, we'll get some more successful people on. There's people in Northern Ireland that I just admire so much right now. Phil Graham, don't know if you've heard of him. Follow him on all his social media. Like, but again, he's like a fitness business entrepreneur, sort of a coach. So he's just amazing seeing him smash life. Chris Suter, another one. get up, get out, get at it. Obviously, I don't know what people will say about it, but you get these people that are born in the families, and I think he was born into this tailoring shop. But no, I look at him like he owns Suitor's Cottage, which hopefully he lets me rent out one day. The Suitor Cafe, been to Hollywood. If you've never been, go there. It's just nice, it's just quaint, and it's just lovely. Um, he owns the coffee truck. He's just smashing life. DJ, they have the Suitor Yoga with his wife. So he's took something and ran with it and expanded and took risks. He's local lad, same as all these lads. All these local lads I actually love to see do well. My friend Jamie that I talked about earlier, he was a footballer and he had a bad roll of the dice, but now he's back playing for an Irish League team. Irish League team in the season he was in as well, so you'll know who he is. And then he owns his own coaching business, so it doesn't matter what he's doing, or he's not the Premier League footballer. He's doing what he loves, and he lives around the corner from his family. So these people are probably, I would say, more successful than me. In fact, they are. Obviously, they are. My boss, Whiskey, will have him on. He'll be a great chat because he'll say it how it is, and great discipline, great motivator, and it's just a good chat. And hopefully, I'll have some hard hitting questions for these guys as well. Um, and then we'll go into more towards the end of the podcast. You know, the coaching and mentoring and where you should be going with things. So after the podcast, like I said, the support was amazing, but I was nervous because there is people out there who are like, well, why would you do a podcast? You're not going to get anyone that listens to it. And then I listened to Joe Rogan. There's like 4 million podcasts in the world. I thought to myself, why would I do a podcast? But today I stood up and on my course and I had to give a presentation, call it. We call it a brief, but I had to give a presentation. And stood up, I was fine, but I found to talk really fast. I shook, and obviously I can talk for also listen to me. But again, being up in front of that audience, got nervous. Don't know why. It was involuntary. I talked too fast. I tried to slow myself down. I said instead of just slowing down. So this is for me, hopefully, to practice those things and take this, podcasting and making videos eventually when I get my camera back and I'm at home and I'm doing things. This is me to building them skills and take them outside of this career when it's finished. So that's right now I'm working towards something that might not happen for 5 or 10 years. But I believe that that's what I should have done when I was younger. And not every person does that. I think, and I mean, I don't know what way the world is now, but there's a thing about a man. I'm not saying it's not a woman thing as well, but every so often a man will come across this thought in their head, an ultimatum of when they're the man, like whether or not it be of your house or whether or not it be of like a when you need to be a man, when you need to support or. But I've had the thought a few times, like, right, I'm the man, I need to step up, and you think how? Because I've never been scared, or there's some people maybe, but it's almost like an achievement, right? That I can now do this. But at the same time, you think, oh, I've never done it, so high. And I wish I had started sooner before, and then that probably would have that thought. But being so young, like no one thinks about that, I suppose. And right now, I'm at that point in my life, like right, so I am now. I believe I've got my own house. I've got a fiance. This is the time. So where do I want to be in 10 years? When I'm 35, like what do I want my life to look like? Sorry, and the answer is that most men will come up with, I don't know, but I know what direction I want it to trend. So the podcast hopefully take it that direction. Hopefully my confidence in talking, hopefully it'll be more leading a team. I've always been a good leader. That's probably why, I got the promotion. I don't mind chipping in and doing things. I'm a grafter. People lead me. I'm sort of like an alpha male of the group. And then I sort of joined the Navy and it taught me about mentoring. Mentoring is where you take someone. So leading is where you lead the group and you do it with the group and you tell them what to do, fine, but just do it. Mentoring, then you one to one, or maybe basically you take someone, you show them their potential, you do practical and you show them how to do things and you teach them. But where I'm trying to reach is this coaching level to where you unlock someone's full potential by giving them the keys to do it. You don't do it for them. You don't mentor them and say, "Oh, this is what you do." You push them that extra mile. They say they can't go. They go. You get it out of them. I can't do that. There's no such word as can't. Those sort of things. I want to start getting towards that, and hopefully in the future, that's where we're going. Well, that's where I want to go. So, like I was saying, back to going tangents, and I will for a couple podcasts probably. Basically, when this podcast came out, I done it because I felt like, oh, I'm doing well. I want to be confident. I want to do better. And then obviously after doing it, was waiting for the stick, waiting for the banter, waiting for everything. And I got some. Don't get me wrong. And people would say like I'm lucky I've got my own house, blah blah. You're lucky you're in the navy or this and that. But anyone can do it. Anyone can achieve what I've achieved, and I haven't achieved a lot at all. Like one of my, I'll talk. In fact, at the end of this, I'll just list off examples of people that are just, I think, small time but absolutely blowing up and doing amazing right now. But I sort of said to myself, you know, had to think like, oh, I'm fucking up, am I doing something wrong? But if you feel good when you're doing something, if you feel good after doing something, if you feel good about doing something, you feel like you're in a good place, you're probably in the right direction. But if you feel bad or you have doubt or you have because you may think you're good, you may convince yourself you're doing well, the whole influencer thing. But if you know I'm not enjoying this, I'm not doing well, change something. Don't listen to anyone. Listen to what you're feeling because sometimes you'll say, "Oh, I'm doing well," but listen to what you're feeling because you'll know. And that I've been there. Let me just talk and we'll just list for the last couple of seconds. Hopefully, by listing these people, maybe they'll come on the podcast because they're just listed. Obviously, Chris Suter, Phil Graham, Ben Heron, a Boss Whiskey, uh, Ballers Coaching, it's called as well. Jamie, again, his level of coaching as well, like Ben's. One does football coaching, one does PTI coaching. My best friend's fiance, Ashley, Booty by Ashley Allen, does nails. And I remember in HMB, she was like the first person I worked with. And all she talked about was doing beauty and makeup, and she was smashing it, absolutely smashing it. And she went for like an interview at Mac and she didn't get it, and she was really distraught about it, I remember. But then all of a sudden now she got interviewed all these different makeup companies, and now she's just out on her own, just smashing like fully booked through summer. But like little stuff like that, if that's what you're passionate about, then do it. That is success in my eyes. Like just doing what you're passionate about. It's hard. Like it is hard to obviously do what you want to do, but what's harder is to do what you don't want to do. You know, convincing yourself you're happy by earning money in something you don't want to do. You're not happy. You'd rather work a bit harder and you know, put yourself in the right direction. Um, other than that, this podcast is going to be very short. Hopefully, it's pushed it towards where I want to take it. Next week it will be more probably maybe I'm going to split it down, do one formal and one informal. Hopefully, we'll have my old boss on, one of my good friends. Hopefully, we'll have him on, and we'll get a real good podcast. And I've got some hard hitting questions for him. But other than that, yeah, we're gonna keep this podcast maybe split it down to one informal. We'll talk about sports and everyday stuff and have a bit of banter. Another guy, by the way, Shane Todd. That podcast is unbelievable at the moment. Absolutely smashed it, taking over Northern Ireland. That guy is. So yeah, just examples of like Northern Irish, just people small time that I know. There's loads of people out there that's smashing them. Keaton Moore, list goes on. Keaton Moore is a guy, one of my coaches back in the day, helped me join the Navy. But like he's doing this business for men's clothing, Move Your Mind clothing, and to say it's all mental health, but it's amazing. He's smashing it again. He's just been out in Dubai. Um, like I said, my friend Ben out in Dubai. These people are just trending in the right direction, and they're just examples of like you don't need to be a miracle, or you don't need to have millions to be happy. You don't need to be the next biggest influencer. You don't need to fake your life on Instagram and see what filters the best. I mean, I love people that do that as well. Like I'm not, I would never hate on anyone. I love like the big people that are really good influencers on Instagram because that's what they want to be. Like, you ask a kid nowadays what they want to be, they say YouTuber or influencer. Like, if they're doing that, that's smashing it. But if they're faking it, that's different. But it's hard to tell, isn't it? So moral of the story, I talk a load of shit. I talk too long. I'll get better. We'll talk a bit more serious. I'll go into hopefully some of the books I've read and some of the stuff um, that I've learned throughout the Navy time. There's the topics we into like join the Navy if anyone's into that. There's sort of the sort of structured sort of job role that maybe it could help in that leadership. I've done a leadership course in the Navy. I mean, it was actually a bit eye opening. I'm on a course now. Hopefully, teaches some of that. So hopefully I can bring something, and then hopefully we'll have a bit of banter as well. Because some of my friends on obviously being in the Navy and having friends from everywhere, being in the movies, like there is some funny stories hopefully we'll get into in the future. And other than that, if you do listen, those four people that did listen last week, thank you for listening. Um, I would appreciate if anyone would just drop me a message, tell me you listen, tell me I'm talking too fast. My audio right now isn't the great because it's on a laptop, so hopefully we can get better at the audio. If there's any jump cuts, forgive me, because again, my phone probably went, or I live with like five other people. But hopefully we can just keep talking. Hopefully more people come on the podcast, and hopefully get some of my friends on. And if you want to come on the podcast, it's, I mean, 2 episodes in. If you just want to have a chat and talk about things, feel like you can share something that might help one person, let's do it. Let's just do it. Let's just grab ourselves by the scruff and be brave. Eh? Anyway, thanks for listening to maybe the So It Is podcast because I don't know yet. Cheers.